so many different positions to bat. That being said, for Gareth, he had a spell at number 3, so he won't be unused to batting at this time of the innings. Flicks that one off the pad, straight to short fine. Does well. A very good power play for Afghanistan. Ireland 36 for 4 after 6.
Well, it's interesting to see as well, Andrew. We're having a few discussions amongst ourselves about what they do with George Dockwell in this innings, and whether do they hold him back. Is he Ireland's number 5 now after his good form? And I think today gives us our answer. He's Ireland's finisher.
Wow.
Alakoze pomegranate.
Blair White departs the commentary box, and that's an outside edge, and that will race away. I don't think Mujibur Rahman's got a chance of catching up to that one, and as that one rolls into the boundary rope, I'll say good afternoon to Hamid.
Good afternoon.
Ideal start for Afghanistan to this.
If I can sum it up in one sentence, it has clicked for Afghanistan today. So far, so good. They did not repeat the mistakes in the previous games, and so far they have done well with their bowling as well.
Slip in place for Rashid Khan. Tucker goes to the sweep. Big shout. Down. Rashid Khan is absolutely furious. He's on his knees. He's begging for the decision. He can't believe it. Tucker goes to the sweep. Big shout. Down. Rashid Khan is absolutely furious. He's on his knees. He's begging for the decision. He can't believe it. Tucker goes to the sweep. Big shout. Down. Absolutely furious. He's on his knees. He's begging for the decision. He can't believe it. Tucker goes to the sweep. Big shout. He's absolutely furious. He's on his knees. He's begging for the decision. He can't. Like anything, it's a good piece of work. A short fine keeps Tucker on strike. It's interesting, actually. You say it's very difficult to sweep Rashid. That's something that Ireland have actually done very well in the first 2 games. They've managed to sweep him. Is that Rashid bowling a little bit fuller than normal? Zip off the pitch, do you think?
We do need to remember that Ireland plays Afghanistan than any other ICC member, probably. So I think that I'm used to Rashid Khan's bowling than any other country. That could be one fact. And the fact that they are sweeping it quite often, I grew up with the saying, if you don't read it, sweep it. It's difficult to read Rashid Khan, and probably sometimes the safest thing to do is to just go for the sweep. But they are used to playing Rashid Khan. They played it well, and they were brilliant, I think.
Well, he's gone 2 games wicketless. So not something that's happened before for him. There's another sweep shot, and it's gone very fine, but Afghans accordingly, they've got that field set for the sweep. So it's interesting now. The sweep shot has become a scoring option for Ireland, but with this field, with the backward square, it's no longer a boundary option.
No, it's not. But I think happy as long as they take some runs off Rashid Khan. I don't think he's the Afghan bowler that they would go for an attack. So they have other options, but they need to play him safe and make sure he doesn't take any wickets and put further pressure. 4 wickets down already.
It's interesting that Mohammad Nabi is bowling so many of Rashid's overs so early on. Leave those other bowlers, like perhaps himself and Mujibur Rahman, as many runs as possible to deal with if Ireland are going to be defensive. And misfield at a deep mid-wicket. Not the first misfield this over, but this time it does not cost Afghanistan another run. That's the end of 7 overs. Ireland are still in a hole. 44 for the loss of 4 wickets.
convincing because the last thing they need is a partnership by the Ireland batsmen, because they have suffered from that in the past, and it cost them games, it cost Afghanistan games. So another wicket would be ideal, and if that means ball Rashid Khan through, I probably think he would go for it, because they are having the upper hand right now.
Well, this is a big moment in the game here. We're talking about the skipper. Here he is with the ball. Mohamed Nabi is going to bowl his off breaks, and we mentioned him as an option that Ireland might actually look to target if they're not going to target Rashid. Well,
Yep.
his next 6 balls is going to be vital to the outcome of this game.
Full toss stop. Hit hard by Gareth Delaney.
It would be interesting to see what they do against Nabi. Lots of teams would go for him, actually, because he doesn't get a lot of spin. It's much easier to read him from his fingers or wrists. He does tend to take wickets and break partnerships as well. He's well known for that. A veteran of the game for Afghanistan. He has been there from day one all the way over the past 10, 12 years. He has seen it all, and he is still young.
He's taking a lot of pace off that. Gareth Delaney's gone to this slog sweep. It's a favourite shot. He's at the toe end of the bat, and it's one bounce out to long on. Interesting, just in front of our commentary position here, there is quite a big gap between long on and mid-wicket. Mid-wicket is very straight, perhaps because they feel they need very fine because of the sweep.
I think so.
So if you want,
Judging from the previous over, yeah.
exactly. So if you want to play that slug sweep, there is that option there.
There is the sweep again.
Fumble from Najib out at the mid-wicket, just the single.
Quite a lot of fumbles from the Afghans, not just in this game, but the fielding wasn't impressive in the previous one. That's another area they have to work on. With broken fingers at that end, but I have to say I've been speaking to some of them, and there are some injuries, not the kind of injuries that would prevent them from playing in games, but
Good piece of running. Gareth Delaney comes back for the second. Mohamed Nabi's changed his angle now. He's coming around the wicket, and I think he's going to try and spear that ball in. He made the Ireland hit against the angle towards the leg side, but brings up Ireland's 50. That was slower than they would have liked, given the chase that's ahead. He's got out of the over so far, Mohamed Nabi, without giving him boundary away. He's got 2 deliveries left. It's really well bowled. There's no pace on offer at all. I mean, he's not giving a length that Gareth Delaney can get underneath. It's another 2, though.
no, he has bowled well so far in this over, I think.
There is that.
Could be, no. There was a chance, but it was a difficult one.
Difficult one, but it's another drop catch.
It is indeed. I mean, good teams, good fielding sides would take those catches, and catches win your matches as it goes, but, yep.
We'll be playing the likes of Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and then they are in a tough group in the World Cup, playing against England, Australia, New Zealand, sides that are brilliant in the field. They will take lots of 1s and 2s off this Afghan fielding in those games.
Yeah, especially big square boundaries in Australia.
Absolutely.
Well, that means we were wrong. We thought Rashid would continue. It's not Rashid, it's Mujib from the City end. Yeah, another bowler that you feel Ireland probably have to target here. That required run rate is now up.
I guess so. They have to go for someone. It's the question is, who do they choose?
It's good for Mujib. Tucker's trying to use his feet to him. It's fired in quickly. back of the length, it's difficult to get down to the pitch of the ball. It's hard in front of square. They will look for it there. If it doesn't beat the fielder. Was Gani down there. He's brought the dive out, but once again, Afghanistan are struggling in the outfield.
Yep, they are.
So what do you think the issue is for Afghanistan when the fielding is struggling? Is it just a case of it's not one person makes a mistake, it runs through the side? Is it an attitude problem? Is it a coaching problem?
I think they're just not fit enough. It's no secret in terms of running, in terms of effort. I wouldn't say they're not putting the effort in, but they're just not fast enough and they're not athletic enough. And that's one key area they have to work on. I do see them doing quite a lot of fielding practice in the nets on a regular basis.
Shot hard out to the leg side, and the catch is taken.
That was a brilliant catch. Okay.
He's ended up falling over, and here we are talking about the fielding.
There is the answer to what I was just saying. That was a brilliant catch. Naveen Haq it is, I think.
It is, and I think it was Naveen Haq that dropped that tough chance at extra cover in the last over, so he's made up for it. It's the end of Lorcan Tucker. He's gone for 31 off 20 balls. He was Ireland's set batter. He's hit that hard. It's a good out into the leg side. That leg side is much longer than it was yesterday. Wow. That's a fantastic catch. The force of the ball hitting his hands has knocked him over.
He did well to keep the ball in his hands. And
Alakazay water, pure and mineral water.
Delaney is still on strike. Mujib taking a wicket in his first over.
you have to appreciate these Afghan fans with their commitment and coming out and following the team and supporting them constantly.
Pulled away into the leg side. There's that deep backward square out there. Keeps it to a single. Brings us to the end of the 9th over. Ireland 59 for 5. Wickets, they just keep losing wickets every time it looks like a partnership's going to be built. Afghanistan are well on top, and this is where they're at their best, when they can just squeeze with that trio of spinners.
I mean, if they can give themselves a chance, as far as T20 cricket is concerned, Afghanistan are a strong team. They're a strong side. They could give any opposition.
So it won't be as effective as play and a miss at the attempted slog sweep there.
I think the bigger concern is they haven't played on green wickets too often, and I think this is their last chance to play on wickets that are somewhat similar to probably the Australian wickets. I'm not saying this is exactly like Australia, but after this they're going to Dubai for the Asia Cup. That was beautifully played.
Yeah, cracking shot. Gareth Delaney short and wide from Mohamed Nabi. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to hide that ball outside off with a bit of extra pace into it, but he's got that all wrong. And it's after maybe premeditating the sweep shot in the last over, Delaney just waited on that one nicely. promise Naby to change his angle once again. He's going to come back over the wicket. Spears that one in towards his leg stump. And he's happy just thinking, well, I think that's a better man. All that length, it's very difficult to get underneath. He has a good quicker ball. He's a round arm spinner, isn't he? He makes it bowling a quicker ball.
That's the case with many of the Afghan spinners. The speed with which they can bowl their googlies or off spins, off breaks, especially with Rashid Khan. Oh, that's good from that. Varying his pace nicely. Quicker ball, follow up. And one has all the pace taken off. Donald just takes a single to long off. The required rate continues to climb up for Ireland. It's now over 12. There's that slog sweep. It's in the air. It's not going to carry to defence. Najib Zadran underneath it, and he takes the catch. It's a good catch. He went to his go-to shot. He went for that slog sweep. Now he's too good for him on this occasion, and all of a sudden Afghanistan are holding their chances. Yep, absolutely. I think they're on top now, and Ireland, it had got to a point where they just had to go for somebody, and otherwise 12 for over is and it's creeping up. So the risks, unfortunate on that occasion. Good range from Naby. Not full enough to really get underneath it with that. Scoreboard pressure, take risks. It doesn't matter if they do get hit for a boundary or two, and even as good as this. To play his game as well. So I think although Zazai didn't go for it, in other words, he didn't blast Ireland's bowlers to all parts of the ground, but I think his sheer presence at the wicket had something to do with the way Afghanistan started and gave themselves a chance and a good momentum, a good base to build their innings on. Which is interesting, because with the bat, he actually went, his strike rate was under 100, so he wasn't his usual fluid self by any stretch. No, and that's surprising, because remember, he played until the 12th over, I think, and it's unheard of if you tell somebody Zazai was out there until the 12th over, and his strike rate was still under 100. That's not the usual Zazai we are used to seeing. There, comes to the crease, he's at non-striker's end. Stockholm with that one off his pads for a single to deep square, and brings us to the end of 10 overs, halfway through Ireland's innings, chasing 190 and 6 down. Stockholm and Mark Adair at the crease, and yeah, I think that was, you summed it up very nicely, Hamid, when you said that Afghanistan just clicked today. Did it? And they needed it today. I think sometimes it's just that one change in the squad that kind of makes the difference. So probably Zaze coming back into the team, and we know his record against Ireland. That probably, and remember they're playing on a different wicket as well, that could have been a factor as well. As he continues, George Dockle skies that one over short third. Won't go to the fence, and he'll come back for an easy two. I think he's just trying to hit that one quite straight. If Fortune could have easily gone straight to the hands of short third. You also have to recognise that Afghanistan has changed. It's probably enforced. We saw Andrew yesterday. But they backed the other 10 players after 2 poor displays. So the captain and coach, or whoever picks the team. No, I agree. Sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise, and I think the reason why he missed the first 2 matches, I've heard that he was not fit. He was having fever, temperatures. He looked better today. Not 100% fit, I would say. Obvious from the way he was batting as well. Not at his cracking best, but Marky Dare is off the mark. The punch down to long on. He's played a lot of cricket here this year, Marky Dare. With the Northern Knights, this of course is their home venue here at Stormont. And he likes playing at this ground. He likes batting here. It's the first time he's had a hit this series. Short and pulled into the leg side. There is a fielder out there. Oh, Mujib kicks the ground in disgust because it's yet another chance that goes begging. And gets on the Afghan's hands. And it's gone all the way for 6. I think you're right. I think it just burst his hands. Let's have a look. A short ball hit very hard to that leg side boundary. Oh, it's pounded over the bar. Yep. And really, just as we were saying, the fielding was improving. No, it hasn't. I mean, it was a good catch earlier from Naveen, that's absolutely right. But one bird doesn't make it spring. So I think overall, it's no secret their fielding standards have not been impressive at all. It's been a mixed day. I'm pretty sure that was Naveen as well out there. So he's put 2 down and he's taken 1. It's a mixed bag. That's swept by there. It's straight to short fine. Another fumble. Quite a lot of them today. It's the end of the 11th. They're eventful over that. And I'd like my thanks to Hamid. We're both going to depart and to take you through the next handful of overs. There's Andrew Blair White and Alan Lewis. Catches, dropped a couple, but they're still in tremendously good position here, and one would have to think they'll be getting themselves on the board in this ITW T20 International Series. Karen Janet's effort in the last over on the boundary. That's a good shot. Easy 2. Just talking about that chance last over. Reminded me of YMCA Birds, that effort on the boundary. Hands everywhere. Straight out through the red basket. Over there. Oh, he's got it, I reckon. Oh. Mark Hawthorne's turned this down, and Mohammed Nabi is absolutely apoplectic at the moment. And as is Ibrahim Zadran, it was a terrific piece of fielding. He didn't have a great day in the field yesterday, but that was absolutely superb work. I must say, that seemed out. Oh dear, and you can see Gurbaz, he's not a happy man. hand gesticulations for different reasons. Mohamed Nabi having a word in the air. Mark Hawthorne not having any of it, but it did look on here. It has to be said. I know we're not in the greatest positions, but as we know with direct hits,